KCHW 102.7 is Northern Lights Public Radio. Scott and Gene Morning Show. We're looking at the top of the hour, just a minute before 8, so we'll give our legal ID, KCHW Chewela, and welcome our fabulous guests, our beautiful mayor, Dorothy Knaus, and our city administrator, Mike Frizzell, who's not too bad looking himself.
Oh, thank you, Scott.
That's all you get today, Mike.
And he has a very beautiful wife.
Yes, he does. and I've always appreciated you and your wife, because she's so much taller than you. It makes me feel good.
We do what we can, Scott.
You mean there's hope for you yet, Scott?
And she's really nice to me all the time, and I think it's because I'm short. All right.
You got to be nice to the little people.
That's right. That's right. I like to call myself Nomeo.
That's what's wrong with you.
All right. So we are doing our quarterly update. I think we actually missed the last quarter in the middle of the summer, but that's okay. We were probably all busy having fun, right?
We were.
All right. So first question, are you ready for Christmas, Dorothy?
No.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to break my Thanksgiving tradition, which is when we go shopping the day after, I don't buy anything for anyone but myself.
Oh, I kind of like that.
I don't Christmas shop till December.
All right. Oh. All right. Thank you for you getting a musical Christmas card and supporting public radio. That was very nice of you. All right. All right. Mike?
Should we, get Mike into this?
All right. Moving right along this morning. First thing up on our list is grants for 2019, and we've talked about that before in the splash pad.
Right, but Mike's going to take the other grants first and talk about them.
Yeah, so this year we'll have construction of new sidewalks on both sides of 395 from King Street up to the stoplight, and then both sides of Main heading west down to the brewery. And so everything on Main Street will be the updated pedestrian lights, the nice lights with the flowers and the electricity and all that. So that's in design right now. Should start construction in the spring. We just heard from TIB that we got 2 other grants. There's Stevens Street sidewalks at $273,000 and chip seal grant for Valley Avenue, and that's $45,000. So.
Wow, yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff, I guess, available for cities across Washington, across the country. How do you go about getting? I mean, obviously you have to apply for them, but where do these grants come from? Who's making them possible usually?
It's state money. Transportation Improvement Board is our primary contact, and they're the easiest and best to work with. And any city can do it, but we do a lot of FaceTime, as much FaceTime as we can with them. Like when we're over in Olympia, we sit down with them. It helps a lot if
so they know
your face and they know, and they know your city. So every time, Gloria is our local engineer from TIB. Every time she's up, I walk around town with her. We look at the streets, the road conditions. She gives us a good idea of what she's going to support more than other projects. So it's very helpful.
Very cool. And I think something people probably don't realize when you say that and you say sidewalks and $273,000, they shake their heads. Cement is ridiculously expensive. If you've ever tried to have a foundation put down for anything in the past 20 years, cement is just, and blacktop. Ridiculous.
Yeah, all of it. And being a municipality, we have to pay the state prevailing wage. We have to follow all the bid laws. You know, in a lot of cases, it doubles the cost of the project.
Ties your hand and forces you to go to that higher end.
Yeah.
I know I managed a huge mobile home park years ago in the Midwest. It was like 400 units, and I got a bid for just 2 inches of fresh blacktop throughout the park. It was over $1 million.
Yeah.
Right.
And then people, wonder why, like you're in your apartment. Oh, my rents are going up and all this kind of stuff. When you've got to pave your parking lot and it costs you $400,000. Wow, how do you recoup that? It's tough.
And that's why we can't do a lot of street reconstruction where we actually dig down and rebuild the street. That's horribly expensive.
You guys have done a great job, though, Dorothy and Mike, since you guys took over. Our town looks so much better. And it's not just the city, it's our local entrepreneurs and business owners.
Yes.
I can't believe, from growing up here as a child, and you too, Mike, how much better the town of Chewela looks. I mean, the first one that really changed was when Sistec and Hartil's moved to the south end of town, and it's just gotten better better and better, and the new sidewalks, and it's like that thing, you drive into Chihuahua, you're not going to know it's the poorest city in Washington.
Right. Well, a few years ago, there was a city guide that they set out for all the cities, and Chihuahua's picture in that guide was a picture from about Quartzsite Loop looking into our downtown, and the picture was horrible. It was embarrassing at that point because the segment or the Main Street construction, the first $1 million grant we got, wasn't completed yet, and to take that same picture today would be a completely different view. It's something we're really proud of now. So
All right, very good.
Exactly.
So it gave you a really good comparison to look at, hey, this is what it was before, and this is what we are now.
yeah,
Yes,
I think with these
exactly.
grants that we just got, I think we've topped over the $5 million marker in the last 6 years, 6
Wow.
or 7 years. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's something to
a
be
lot
proud of,
work.
you guys.
Yeah.
I know you guys take the heat on everything, so sometimes you got to pull out those positive things and go, look how our city has changed, and,
Right,
and
right.
for the better. So good job, good job. In
Exactly.
fact, I think I have some applause right here. Here we go. Yeah. All right, fun for the kids. This is something that's close to me when I see money being spent. I always go, should we have had that, or could we have done something for our kids? So I love the splash pad idea.
Unfortunately, we scored mid-range. There were 91 projects submitted, and we scored number 50. So we may be below the funding level, but in the spring of next year, every applicant has to recertify their match. In other words, we had a 10% match, but some had 50 or 25% matches. So if they can't recertify their matches, then we may move up the line. And it also depends on how much the legislature gives for these grants this year. So we're not really dead in the water, but it's not looking real good right now for next year.
Ouch.
But we'll reapply.
And keep working on it.
We'll keep working on it. Mhm.
All right. Public records.
We had a free visit from the Attorney General's office, and they have a department that goes out, one of the assistant attorney generals goes out to the various cities and towns and talks about how you're handling your public records requests, what records you're keeping. They just look at your system and say, okay, well, you need to shore up here, or you need to be able to do this, and it was very helpful for us to just sit down with them. We sat for about an hour and a half and just visited about. Mike is our public records officer, so it was very helpful to him to just know that he's doing things correctly.
All right. Do you guys get a lot of requests for public records?
Well, we probably get 8 to 10 a year, but it just so happens that before they got here, we got our first big request from somebody that's in a correctional facility.
Okay.
And that's a big deal because a lot of times the people that are in that position will do public records requests as a form to get money. Because if you can't provide all the records for some reason, or they'll ask for the same records from different agencies, like from the county and from the city for the same request, and they'll be very broad requests. And if they can prove that somehow you missed a document or a record, then they can sue the city for money. So there's people out there actually making a living off of it, being in a correctional facility. So we got our first one of those, and so it was very helpful for them to be here and kind of walk us through that next level and how to do it properly. So
Just
it
to
was very
cover,
nice.
that's horrible.
Yeah.
People actually make money by doing that.
Yeah, some people make, and not just people who are in those facilities, but other people that just have nothing better to do, I guess.
Maybe we shouldn't have brought that up.
No. Well, actually, and it's really important because we have to protect the city, the taxpayers' funds, and one city in Washington, a small city, got fined $175,000 for a violation of the Public Records Act, and actually that is half the original fine was $350,000.
Wow.
And that would absolutely devastate a small city's budget.
Wow.
So we're very, very careful about how we do this.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll spend weeks on a request, and the only thing you can charge the requester is 15 cents a page. So you can't charge them actual time. It's a huge drain on our resources with those large requests.
Wow. And horribly tedious for you, I imagine. All right.
Wow.
So I was real curious. I couldn't make it to the meeting for that one, or when you guys toured downtown. Have you made any decisions about the parking? Do we have any ideas? Or
No. And as a matter of fact, I was really happy that the council, I think they did a great job by saying at that meeting, listen, we've heard from a few people, but we want to hear from more. We want to hear from as many people as possible. There was 2 business members represented in that meeting. We want to see more of them because it affects them more than anybody else. And so we've scheduled another meeting for January 16th, and I'm gonna ask you to put it on the radio, get it advertised for a few weeks in the paper, and hopefully we triple the amount of people that are there. And after that, they may have enough information to make a decision. So.
Now, is there any possibility, and I don't know if this would fall into the city's realm of things they could do, but let's say there was a big piece of property that was available close to the downtown area and it could be turned into parking or something for the down. Is that something that the city could pursue like that? Because that's the big issue is if we fix, I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, if we fix the parking downtown because it's blocking people from seeing at intersections. And I think that's a huge public safety issue. If we reduce the parking, if we make it better. So where do those people go? How do we do that without hurting the downtown? I guess that's the big question. Right?
Yeah, there's the options, and we have these listed, visuals listed at City Hall. If anybody who wants to come down and kind of look at what we're talking about, but one of the options to actually take the angled parking and move it from 45 degrees to 30 degrees, which actually provides 4 extra feet of travel lane between the parking and the center line for the vehicles, which is, we added double angle parking between 4th and 5th next to Mondo's, and we provided 4 or 5 extra parking spaces by doing that. But it does feel very tight because there's only 12 feet between the back of the parking and the center line. And when you got the long pickups and you got people going both directions, you slow down because you think it's too close. So
yeah,
I think some of the options that are being presented are really good. And one of those options actually adds 11 downtown parking spaces and at the same time increases the lane width by a total of 8 feet across Main Street. So I think there's some really good options. And as far as the parking lot, I think that it's possible, but the last time the city owned a piece of property for that purpose, it really didn't get used. It was where Paul said he has the greenhouse area.
Okay.
Now, and that was open. The city owned that at the time. And for the most part, the only people that parked there were the employees from SETI's. And occasionally somebody was going to the chiropractor. So it wasn't really a spot people were using to actually park and then walk downtown. Quite often people won't park unless they can park right in front of the business that they're going to. So,
and if you've already arranged it so we're actually gaining a few spaces here and there, that would kind of helps.
Yeah, yeah. One of those options gains 11 spaces, so that's definitely a consideration for them, and they're looking at the public safety aspect the whole time. Other items that we're looking at is kind of a whole downtown health issue because we want to talk about sidewalks, parking hours, the clear width that you can walk down on sidewalks because some of the businesses are
encroaching.
Yeah, a bit, which, and it's really nice, with the new pizza place and everything to be able to sit outside in the spring and the summers is a really nice thing, but we want to make sure we're leaving enough room for the pedestrians to walk by at the same time. So
especially people in wheelchairs, you got to be cognitive of that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I know the worst spot, and maybe another one, but it's between 2nd and 3rd, both crosswalks. So you have from at the corner of Dr. Kolsted's down to the coffee shop, that section right there, when people are parked there, the trucks are sticking out, so you've got to cross the center line. Yes. And when you, people in the crosswalks at 2nd can never be seen, and then 3rd, because I always come out of the alley here and hit there, trying to turn out on that one, if there's a truck parked on SETI's and a truck parked in front of the thrift store or something, you can't see until you're a car length out in the road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
And so by going with the steeper angled parking, you can see a lot sooner the oncoming traffic, and it also, to back out of those spaces, you can see a lot sooner. You don't have to be halfway into the lane before you can see who's coming. So
yeah, because if you're a small car and there's a truck beside you,
you can't
see.
You need a flagger.
Which is usually what happens to me, because when I'm in the little red Honda, I can't see anything until I'm like fully backed out into the highway or into the road, and then I'm like, there's traffic.
You're committed at that point.
Right? It's like you just got a boogie.
Yeah.
Another topic that came up in this discussion is trucks, big trucks turning from 395 onto Main Street and off. making sure they had room to make that turn safely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a tough one too.
And another item is maximum length of trucks that we want to park on Main Street as well. Because some of the quad cab full 8-foot bed pickups, once they have
Wow.
lumber racks on it, and they're past that maximum length.
They are. They're big.
Yeah, and so if we can provide more spaces on Main Street for people to park, it should open up more spaces on the side streets, second, third, and fourth,
So
for
if you're
them
in
to
a big
park
truck,
the longer
yeah.
vehicles or people with trailers. So we're hoping that once that decision is made, it's a big improvement for everyone on Main Street.
All right. So there was a recent community survey. I believe that was our next topic.
That's coming out,
Okay.
hopefully in December. The Stevens County Broadband Action Team, which I'm a member of, is still working to get adequate broadband throughout the county. Because of our terrain, it's very difficult to have line of sight, to get broadband. So, and many of the people, the businesses that live out of town, they still need broadband at home. So we are sending out some type of we're just in the draft stages of the survey right now, but hopefully people will go to the Stevens County broadband site and test their speeds, because that's what we really want to know from your home. What is your up speed and your down speed? And then we're going to put that in a report and try to get this broadband going.
And when does that survey start?
We're hoping in December it will be out, so we'll let you know.
Yeah, send us a public
Okay.
service request
Yeah.
to the website or something so we
Okay.
can send people there.
Right.
That's
So
good.
hopefully somebody like me who lives in the hills and the trees
Yes.
could get something that's more affordable and better than CenturyLink.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, so we, I mean, here in town we got tons of options now.
Right.
Where we used to not, we've got was Internet Express out of Colville. We've got Ecliptics out of Spokane. We've got and then we've got the hard lines of Spectrum,
Spectrum.
and CenturyLink. So in town we got lots of choices.
Right.
How is and I don't know unless I looked at the map. How is, because I know with I'm on the same tower as Ecliptics. They should have some pretty good coverage for people maybe outside of town in this area. How are they doing for providing coverage?
That I do not know.
Okay.
There was some change in the company, and
Yeah.
I don't know what their current status is.
I think actually the only marketing going on for that is here on the radio. So I don't know how many customers they have in Chihuahua or I mean or in the surrounding area. But I do know, they've got a tower in Addy. And so they are providing some coverage. So
Right.
what are we looking for, I guess? What's our goal? Is that so everybody that lives here can pick it up somehow?
Yes, that's the ultimate goal. For everybody to be able to have adequate, because a lot of times when school kids go home from school and they need to do their homework on the internet, they can't because
Sure.
they don't have it. So that's one item that we're working on. We just think it's important, no matter where you live in Stevens County, that you have adequate broadband. And so we'll just keep working on that until it happens.
And really, I think the only way to provide that is these companies that are doing the towers and the antennas, right?
It may
the
be a
rural areas.
mixture. It may be a mixture. We're trying to also do some pre-positioned fire camps, so that, remember when we had the fires and year before last, and we had to take the maps and put them on a gigabit drive, and the sheriff had to drive them physically down to where the firefighters were, because we didn't have internet there. So the people who are coming in from out of state to fight the fires don't know
Oh,
don't know the
wow.
landscape. So that's a pretty important thing. And then once we could get that, then we could branch out from there, to surrounding areas.
So it goes beyond people in their homes and that kind of stuff.
It goes
It's
way
all
beyond
the way
that.
up to public safety, right?
Yeah,
Public
and they're really
safety.
focusing on that. In those
Yes.
fires,
Yes.
too, everybody, all of us were looking at the maps to find out how close it was getting, how bad it was. And those maps were 8, 12, sometimes 24 hours old, because they hadn't taken that drive and updated it at the fire, that information, and taken it back to the county so they could put it on the website. So it's a really big deal that service is there.
Another problem that our Broadband Action Team has been addressing is that the federal government lets the providers self-report about their coverage. So they say that if there is the feds say that if there's one person in a census block that has coverage, then that's 100% coverage. And our Broadband Action Team has been working with Senator Cantwell and with others at the federal level to show that federal broadband map is just not right.
All right.
So,
Especially in areas like this.
yes.
All right. New things for 2019 in downtown?
We've ordered the flowers. We ordered the flowers in October for next year. And so more baskets, it's going to be beautiful. And this year we're going to try, and when I say we, the Chambers gets to pick the colors.
Okay.
Because the city really doesn't care what color they are. But we're going to try the red, white, and blue
Oh.
next year so we can put up the red, white, and blue banners.
Okay.
That'll be
So
cool.
we'll see how it works out.
All right. Now, the flowers, is that a chamber thing or a city thing?
That actually, the city started that when Sharon Ludwig was on the council. She and I were at a workshop in Leavenworth, and we were walking around looking at their beautiful flowers, and we decided to go to their city hall and ask them, where do you get your flowers and how do you take care of them? And they pointed us to the plant farm in Spokane, Creech Greenhouse. And so I went to the chamber and said, I know this is not buying locally, but we have to have better flowers downtown. And they agreed. And so we together, then they purchase all the ones on the street. And the city does all the ones that are hanging on the lamp poles. And so it's a joint.
It sure makes the downtown look nice and pretty.
I've been to places on the west side, and people have said to me, oh, Chihuahua, that's the place with the flowers. So, yeah.
I've gotten so many comments from people that are visiting, like this summer
Yes.
that we're visiting, like, oh, the flowers downtown. People always talk about that. It definitely catches their
Right.
attention.
It's beautiful.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's very beautiful.
It is.
All right. So, upcoming budget hearing. Those are always fun.
Well, we just had our budget
I
hearing.
think I'll let Mike take this one.
And I forgot that was on there. Yeah, we just had a budget hearing on revenues. So we explained to the public that was there what we're doing next year to bring in more revenue and to balance the budget. The key was, and we had some people that weren't very happy at that meeting. Some stuck around, some didn't. But what I failed to do in the meeting was explain to them that the time to really get the detailed information, because a lot of the information they had was simply incorrect. And it's a hard time during a public meeting to explain the facts to somebody, so we try to catch them afterward. The key is that people who are interested in what's going on in the city financially, we have the open budget meetings, and we had 3 this year. Prior to, we usually start in September, sometimes into October, but those are open to the public, so we discuss the details of the budget and why we're spending money, where we're spending money, and those are the times that the public, those who are really interested, should be there, and then they have the chance to ask the council members or Dorothy or I the details of why are you doing that, why is this necessary, why are you putting $10,000 in for meter replacement when mine works fine, those kinds of things.
Sure.
So to do it in the hearing, in the revenue hearing, and then without the appropriate information, because a lot of the information they brought to us was what they deemed or gleaned from Facebook or other sources, that it just wasn't incorrect, or it wasn't correct information.
Non-verified sources, right?
Yeah, so I mean anybody who has a question or they heard something that doesn't sound quite right, please call the city and we'll spend the time to walk through it with you and show you what's going on, and whether they like the answer or not, at least they'll have the correct information. So
Facebook is not a good place to get your information. Stop it, people.
well, it's not always
Stop
accurate.
it.
I mean, it morphs so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Information. One comment will be mostly right, but 24 hours later, it's a completely different statement. So, that was the budget hearing. The council is next week going to vote on the budget, the final budget. So, at this point, we're basically done. We've been through the process, but there were some pretty big changes this year.
One of the advantages of coming to one of those budget workshops is that the department heads come in and explain, okay, this is, for instance, the electric department or the public works, come in and say, okay, these are the projects that we need to do next year. This is the equipment that needs some attention, and kind of justify their request for the budget. And then the council can say, well, that's good, but we can't do it this year, or sure, we're going to do that this year.
All right, that's always tough stuff, and I think a lot of times people, they hear the meeting, oh, I'd like to attend that, and then they don't, and then they see something on Facebook
Right.
that's not correct, and they get all excited,
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
remember to fact check, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Gene's my fact checker. All right. All right, what's going on up at the airport?
Well, I think we last time reported that we were able to purchase the airport finally, and we're now working on some grants that'll help us develop the airport and actually make it a self-sustaining airport that's got a lot of growth. And we're doing that. We're doing that by applying for a curb planning grant first, and the planning grant's up to $45,000, I believe, and that really will just put everything on paper, say here are our future plans.
It's money for engineers.
Here's
right?
it is, but without that, it's hard to get the rest of the money. So
Sure.
it's a matter of getting all the language, the correct language on the plan, and at that point, then we can apply for curb grants or community development block grant funds or whatever it is to actually develop the airport and provide an entire business district up there that supports the airport and some residential lots off the end. So when we get that far, the residential lots that we sell, those view lots will actually pay in full for the airport that we purchased. And then at the same time,
that's cool.
Yeah, we will have then developed the area for business to come in, and once those businesses take off, it's good for the city, it's good for the area. It's just a win-win at that point. But the next couple of years is going to be a struggle getting to that point. So,
But that's kind of nice that you've planned it out and you can see a way to recoup that.
Yes.
Yeah. Very
Yes.
good. Very good, guys. All right. That's everything we had on the list. Anything else going on we should know about? When's the tree lighting, Dorothy?
You know, I have not heard.
sometime in December.
You've got to plug it in.
Well, they used to have the Santas, in the evening. They used to have it and have a little ceremony. They don't do that anymore. So last year, we just plugged it in when we got ready to plug it in.
Oh, no ceremony.
We'll probably try to have it lighted, hopefully by city sidewalks, which is the first.
I'm going to tell you a little story.
Okay.
It's this weekend, right? It's the city sidewalks.
Yes, it is
right?
Yes.
Saturday. So they should call you soon if they want you to plug it in on Saturday. Just saying. Maybe I'll call Sandy the Chamber and give her a heads up. Hey, Meryl, plug in the tree. So there was the year that Mooch bit you. Okay.
That was what, 4 years ago?
About 4 years
For
ago.
your listeners, Mooch is the cat.
That's right. That's right.
It was not Jean.
Yeah. So the year that the cat bit you, and it was all funny, and it went all over town. I think Troy was a chief then. He had one of the gals call me from the head office and say that he was coming over, and I said, "Oh, does he want to go on the radio?" And she said, "No, he's going to euthanize your cat for biting the mare." But anyway, so it's now December after that, so it was several months later, and I'm standing in front of the Christmas tree, and you're about to plug it in, and I'm standing next to Jared. And he leans over and goes, "It'd be real funny if your cat jumped out of the tree right now."
That is funny. However, on Saturday on city sidewalks, they do have a town crier that comes out at 10 in the morning, and then I read a proclamation to open the city sidewalks. Right.
I heard that.
Right, and last year people were not aware of that, and there weren't a lot of people that came, so we're hoping people come out this year.
And that starts right at 10?
At 10 o'clock.
And are you doing that from Napa?
From the corner there. Mhm.
All right. Well, maybe I'll need to get over there with a microphone.
Yeah, we have a pretty fun town crier,
All right. Can you tell me who it is?
Bud Evans.
Is he going to be wearing his Budman outfit?
Don't know.
Have you seen that? No, so it's a superhero outfit.
Oh.
I mean, total superhero outfit, and it says Budman on the front. of it.
I think he needs to be an elf this time.
Yeah.
He needs to be dressed as an elf as a town crier. I think that'd be epic.
Yeah, no, he had on the regular town crier garb.
All right.
Very
I was going to be jealous till you said it was Bud. Now I'm totally okay with it. All right.
Well, the funny thing is when Mooch bit you, I was off at a camp. And
you weren't even here. That's
I
right.
wasn't even here, so I got the text from Scott after the morning show. Mooch just bit the mare, and she drew blood.
She was sweet to you this morning, though. Did you actually touch her?
I didn't touch
you
her
didn't
this
touch
morning,
her.
no.
All right.
I was the one petting her. Yes.
Okay.
I was keeping Mooch happy.
You're afraid she'd notice the scent or something and want another bite?
I'm a quick learner.
All right.
Kind of like the crocodile on Peter Pan. I think she's afraid that she's going to want to finish the job.
Well, thank you guys for coming in early this morning.
Well,
we
thank you.
appreciate it. It's always fun and always good to get that update. If you've only caught part of the broadcast, I do upload them to YouTube. We've got it on video, and then I save it for posterity and rebroadcast. We'll probably do that on like Saturday morning, air this interview again. So.
You know, that is so fun because my daughter in Washington, D.C. can watch it. I
Nice.
think it's a big kick out of it.
Nice. I love posting the stuff on YouTube and seeing the different people that'll watch them or leave a comment, and then sometimes where they're from amazes me. I got one of the other day. They were telling me the stream was down, and they were from Olympia, Washington. And I was like,
Wow.
so there was somebody has found the radio station on the internet and listens every morning
Good.
from Olympia. I
That's
love
great.
that. I love that. I mean, we've got a few foreigners and stuff like that, and friends of Gene, but it's kind of neat when you get something like that. And I go, out of all those choices they could listen to in Olympia, they're tuning into a radio station in Chouila. I love it.
Right?
Exactly.
I love
Yeah.
it.
All right.
All right, Mayor Dorothy Knaus and our city administrator Mike Frizzell, thank you both.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.